Welcome back to our channel, Epic Explorer. Today I will be talking about the 7 wonders of modern world you probably didn't know. 1. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is without a doubt the longest man-made construction ever constructed, and that fact doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon, if at all. This amazing wall, which is around 13,200 miles, 21,200 kilometers, long, took more than 200 years to construct. It was primarily built to defend China from northern tribes like the Mongolians. Because it is continually being repaired and rebuilt because of its age, the majority of the original wall does not exist. It is rapidly deteriorating because to tourists and natural erosion, it is almost impossible to maintain the entire wall due to its enormous size. Although preservation efforts are being done, it is impossible to predict how long this spectacular edifice will remain standing. It will always be a significant part of history, that much is certain. 2. Petra. Whether you want to believe it or not, the magnificent ancient metropolis you saw in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade actually exists. Petra, a sizable city, carved out of sandstone in Jordan, once housed about 10,000 people. Petra's early inhabitants were masters at agriculture, stone carving, and collecting rainwater. The latter is exemplified by Petra's 800 mostly stone-carved structures, including dwellings, tombs, baths, funerary halls, temples, and streets. The rain is one factor that has seriously harmed Petra's architecture, in spite of the fact that it rarely rains in the desert. When it does so fairly violently. Nevertheless, Petra has survived severe storms for many years. Although the exact date of construction of this city is unknown, it is thought to have occurred as early as the 5th century. 3. The Colosseum Amphitheater. The Colosseum, one of Italy's most popular tourist destinations, is situated in the center of Old Rome. This building, which is still the biggest amphitheater in the world, was built in 80 AD. The Colosseum has a bloody past, no doubt about that. Thousands of slaves worked in stone and concrete to construct this impressive structure. When finished, it had seating for roughly 50,000 people who came to watch the performances that took place there, which were typically gladiatorial matches, animal hunts, and even naval warfare. One of Italy's most popular tourist destinations is the Colosseum, which is situated in the center of ancient Rome. This building, which dates to roughly the year 80 AD, is still the biggest amphitheater on Earth. It's true that the Colosseum has a bloody past. Despite how impressive it appears, it was constructed with stone and concrete by tens of thousands of slaves. 4. Chichen Itza. On the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico stands this ancient Mayan metropolis. Even though it is a well-liked tourist destination, the area is still a working archaeological site, where occasionally new findings are uncovered. Chichen Itza is said to have been constructed between the 9th and the 12th centuries, and the region had previously served as an observatory for observing astronomical occurrences. It once had the most diversified Mayan population, encompassing 5 square kilometers with about 50,000 people. It's not surprising that more historical artifacts are still being discovered here, considering how many of the locals were talented sculptors, weavers, jewelers, and potters. The majority of Chichen Itza's sites are renowned for their peculiar noises. If you clap your hands in front of the stairs of the pyramid, for instance, the echo will resemble the chirp of a Mayan snake deity. The ball court center will echo 9 different times when someone claps at one end of the court. 5. Machu Picchu. This ancient Inca castle in Peru is shrouded in secrecy. Machu Picchu, which was built around the middle of the 1500s, wasn't found by Europeans until 1911. The Inca Empire was destroyed by Spanish conquistadors, but they never even got close to discovering it. Machu Picchu's building in and of itself is an amazing achievement. Some of the granite stones used to construct it weighed over 55 tons, 49.9 tons. The stones were either chiseled directly from the mountain's side, or pushed up the mountain entirely by human force. Machu Picchu's population when it was finished was estimated to be between 300 and 1,000 people. Unfortunately, because the Incas didn't retain written documents, it is unknown what Machu Picchu's original function was. Another mystery is why it was only inhabited for 100 years before being abandoned. It is thought that a smallpox outbreak is the reason it was left behind. Over 150 buildings make up this Inca marvel, which you may see if you ever go. The Incans also constructed more than 600 terraces, to prevent the buildings from collapsing down the mountain. 6. The Taj Mahal Mausoleum. The Taj Mahal is India's most well-known landmark, and the most well-known mausoleum in the entire globe. The emperor of the period ordered the construction of this marble monument, in 1632 as a tomb for Taj Mahal, his favorite wife. The construction, which cost over $827 million, took little over 20 years to complete. Additionally, some 20,000 craftspeople were needed, along with 1,000 elephants to assist in the transportation of large items. The Taj Mahal wasn't merely elaborate, it was also well constructed. For instance, it was planned such that in the case of a collapse, everything would slide away from the tomb. The only object that remains unadorned in this exquisite crypt is the emperor's beloved wife's grave, despite the fact that it was constructed for her. This is due to Muslim law, which prohibits grave decorations because they are thought to be pretentious. Structural integrity is a problem today. Extreme predictions predicted that the Taj Mahal might crumble by 2016. Of course, we know that date has gone, but degradation is always on the horizon. Cars and buses are not permitted to approach the Taj Mahal within 1,640 feet, 500 meters, of it in order to preserve its attractiveness and prevent petrol fumes from staining the fatal Section 8. 7. Christ the Redeemer. The statue of Christ in Brazil, which took just 5 years to construct and was finished in 1931, is the wonder that was most recently constructed. Catholics who were concerned that America was becoming more godless served as the statue's inspiration. The statue was created by a local engineer, with some changes made along the way. Christ was first depicted in a sketch holding a globe and a cross in each hand. Of course, the plan was altered, and the final illustration is the statue with the wide arms, that you see today as a sign of peace. The engineer went to France, after completing the design, and hired a sculptor, to produce the sculpture. The statue, which began as a collection of clay pieces, in France and eventually, reached a height of 98 feet, 29.9 meters, was then transported to Brazil, and rebuilt using reinforced concrete. One of the few materials that could hold a sculpture of this magnitude was concrete, but it needed decoration to make it seem prettier. Thus, it had almost 6 million stone tiles covering it. The backs of the tiles were frequently written on by the tile makers, therefore this figure is covered in coded messages. Due to wind, rain, and lightning, Christ the Redeemer has needed numerous restorations throughout the years. A significant restoration was finally finished in 2010. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Please consider subscribing our channel for more epic stuff.